And today I have a very important message for us dealing with the subject of faith. Now, we live in a particular time that logic dictates everything that we do, practicality dictates everything that we do. The atmosphere of one is we live in an atmosphere to which everything and somewhat is grounded based upon logic and rational thinking and matter of fact type of thinking. In the academy, we're actually trained to think rationally about subject matters, right? Everything is based upon what can be seen and what has happened and what can be tested and put to work. And in essence, there's nothing in itself wrong with that. But what is wrong is when we substitute all of that for the lack of faith, right? We need faith. Faith, it takes faith to see beyond what is, right? Have you ever been in a particular situation or circumstance to which you did not know if you were going to see the light of day out of that situation, right? You didn't know the outcome or the solution in that perplexing situation. You were in a predicament, and all of the options were bad, and none of the options were positive or anything to which you could do, right? Nothing that you could do. Many times you may find yourself in a situation, could be something pertaining to something that has happened or transpired that you are just the wrong person or at the wrong time at the wrong place. Or perhaps it was a decision that you made in error. Well, the victory came, right, when you were able to transcend that situation when you stepped out in faith, right? I have spoken on the subject of faith many times, but I believe that as we are on the crux of a brand new year, right? Today is 11/17, November the 17th, and so we are 44, 45 what days out from the new year, and that brings with it new possibilities, right? New opportunities, promises and blessings. But my message to you is that you can't get those things if you don't learn how to measure up with your faith. How do you possibly, you're asking me, how do I do that, Jermaine? How? The first thing that you are to do is to change your mindset, right? Get rid of the doubt. Get rid of the fear. Get rid of the precautions and the limitations of what you are experiencing or the situation or circumstance that you find yourself into now. Because it says in the word in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, faith is the things which is hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So, if you would only put your mind in the possibilities of what can be instead of what cannot be. Because when you doubt God. I'm going to say that again. When you doubt God. You put God's hands under arrest. When you say you can't have something, or that car is too expensive, I'll never get it. Or that house, I've never had a house before. I don't know how I would get that house. I don't know how I would afford that house. Then guess what? You're not going to get it. I promise you, if I had the mentality of a doubter when I got my house, Or when I bought my first, I didn't realize that I would be able to drive a expensive luxury car. But if I would have doubted myself, then I would have never have the ability to drive the car, because I would have never went and said, "Hey, I want this car and I believe I can have this car." And when I prayed to God with and in faith, I got the car, I got the house, I got the job. But one of the main issues in many cases is that we allow people, right? We allow people from outside. People could be even close, or it could be even extended friends. It could be people on the TV. We live in a world of negativity. We live in a world of pessimism and doubt and precaution. But if you listen and surround yourself with this type of thoughts that are coming through the TV and that are coming through people, and they're coming through friends, acquaintances, family, etc., whoever it's coming for, wherever it's coming from, if you listen to that, then guess what? You'll never get it, right? I once was sitting with a particular colleague, right? And this particular colleague, I began to tell him the things that, I believed God for, that I was hoping for. And, the person was like, "What if, but you got to consider, and, was you're going to be in transition." Guess what all of that is? That's negativity. And so I had to preach to that person. I said, no. I said, I have faith. When you say but, or maybe, or I don't know. And in some cases, people say, and sometimes people cloud it with that word hope, right? But it's not that hope that we find in James chapter 11 that says, that hope is the substance, right? It's not that kind of hope, but it's a hope like, well, I hope I get that job. Well, I hope that things work out well for you. No, so when you have it and you say it in a way like that, that's doubt. And if you be honest with yourself, when you say, many times you hear yourself saying, well, I hope that it works out, or I hope that things change, or I hope I get the man or woman of my dreams. I hope I get married. When you say it like that, reflect back on it. Are you saying that I hope, like what this hope is certainty and what has not transpired? And when you have the faith, that is the evidence that it's coming to you, right? So why is it that we continue to allow others to limit the possibilities, promises, and the blessings that God has for us? Now, I'm not a health, wealth, and prosperity type of preacher, but I certainly believe in the possibilities, the endless possibilities of faith, right? Because when you have faith, you tell God, guess what? I believe that you can do this. I believe and I see myself as a realtor. I believe and I see myself as a filmmaker. I believe and I see myself as a singer. I believe and I see myself as a model. I believe and see myself as the president of a company, or the president of the United States. Look at Barack Obama, from humble beginnings. Look at Tyler Perry, was making films and doing theater from his car. He was practically homeless, but he's now a millionaire. Imagine if he didn't have faith. So if these people can have faith, we have examples of faith. Look at Oprah Winfrey. We have examples of what possibilities can come from faith. Imagine if you could only just tap into that possibility. If you could just tap into faith. The Bible says that you could move mountains with a mustard seed of faith. You could change prognosis and diagnosis into testimonies of healing and cure. But we've got to dump the folk, we got to dump the thoughts, we've got to dump whatever is trashing and clouding our minds to make us double-minded. Fear and anxiety, precaution and comfortability. These things will never get you to the place that God has for you. You will never see those promises, those blessings, those opportunities, those new positions and things and blessings if you don't tap into faith. Now, this is not coming from me. Take a look at James. When you look at James chapter 1, verse 6, he says in verse 6, but when you ask, you must believe. You must have faith and not doubt. Because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea blown and tossed by the wind. That person should expect nothing from the Lord. Because you can't. Because you don't believe that he can do it. And because you don't believe that he can do it for you, you won't get it. Now, what happened to 2019? All those things that you said that you were going to do, those things that you said that you were going to get. But guess what? You didn't get them, right? Imagine if you would have put some faith with that, the size of a mustard seed. Baby, you could have moved that mountains. You could have been out of debt. You could have been in a new location. You could have had your husband. You could have had your wife. You could have had your own business. You could have been a CEO. You could have been a manager. Now is the time to put the things. When I was a child, the Lord said it right now. When I was a child, I thought as a child. I spoke as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things like doubting, like fear, like comfortability, like limitations. And that's what you do because that's what the world has taught you to do. Get every blessing. Tell yourself, start today. Somebody tells you something negative, and I know you're probably saying, well, it's not negative because they're saying, well, I hope, and they're saying, well, consider these possibilities and these opportunities, and you preach at that person. I did it today. You preach at that person and said, there is no but. There is no conjunction. There is no what if and what so happens and, this could happen and the transition and all of this. You tell and you preach to that person what God will do for you, even if that person is yourself. And watch the blessings flow, the new possibilities flow, that new man, that new woman, that new house, that new car, that new job, that new everything flood and change your life, that new body, that new health, that new diet, that new everything. Behold, he says, I make all things new. You think he's just talking about your salvation? No, he's talking about everything. Embrace the newness, the possibilities that arise upon the horizon only if you can have faith with it. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Take care.